Today we're taking a look at one of the most unique discs to come out in 2026, and that is, you guessed it, the Discraft Sled. But more specifically, we got a brand new TI Swirl World's Tour Series sled. These drop late May. These are in the same plastic combo as the rest of the Discraft Tour Series this year. They look freaking stunning. Look at this guy. We got the cotton candy colorway. Definitely lucked out there. I've been a big fan of the sled since it came out. I've been throwing it a ton the past couple months. I feel like tons of people that I play with are also bagging the sled, so I figured I gotta check out this brand new version. Sled's got the numbers 3.2, -1.2, but how does the TI Swirl compare to the classic ESP? Today, we'll find out. Starting on a shorty, 160-foot par 3 uphill, basket is straight away, and we're gonna start with old ESP. Yeah, that is so nice, so nice. Ooh, dang, I thought that was going in for a second. A little bit short, but the disc we're all here for. TI Swirl Tour Series sled. Ooh, got some turn on that. Come on back for us. Yeah, that should be like a 20-footer. The sled is easily one of the weirdest discs out there. Part of the reason is because every time I throw it, I assume it's just gonna fly like a Castoplast Berg. You know, because it's got the anti-dome shape. Definitely has some clear similarities, but they're really pretty different. Because while the Berg is the king of just going straight, sitting down, not going super far, the sled is a lot closer to just like a normal putter. It's got more turn, definitely pushes further, while still being a super controllable disc for up shots and off the tee. Another shorty on our hands. Got to go through this gap in the trees and bend a little bit off to the right. You can go forehand, you can go backhand. You guys know me, I'm going backhand. Put it out a little bit too far right, but you see that turn? It drift to the right. Definitely more turn than something like the Berg or the new MVP Stasis. Let's make the correction here with our TI Swirl. There we go, there we go. Keep pushing. Oh yeah, that is parked. You see it had that nice drift to the right, came back a little bit at the end. That's what I'm talking about. A little bit of turn, a little bit of fade. Which is why I found that the holes that I throw the sled on and the way that I throw it is way more similar to my Axiom Proxy than it is your typical Berg style disc. Great for holes like this. 255-foot, straight up, downhill, no questions asked. We got the beautiful light coming in and resting right upon our basket. Just beautiful. I mean, we got to get the ace here. Starting with my ESP. Gave it some height, swing in a little bit for us. Yeah, that's probably going to be a 20-footer. With TI Swirl though, let's see if I can go a little bit more straight at it. Really give this a chance at the ace run. I will say that despite the fact that my ESP is definitely more beat in, because I've been bagging it recently, the TI Swirl I feel like flies very, very similar. Not many differences yet. Turn for us, turn for us. Ooh, really straight. Put that on a little bit of hyzer, got a nice straight flight. That's gonna give us a 20-ish footer. For the sake of comparison, let's go K1 Berg. The Berg, I definitely am not hyzer flipping in the same way that I can with something like the sled. Yeah, see, so straight. No turn on that thing. That was a beauty. That's why I love the Berg. Honestly, these comparisons make me think that the sled flies a lot more like the Zone SS, where it's a straight flying disc but has a little bit of turn to it as well. Ooh, put that out to the left. Come on back for us, come on back for us. Okay, that's fine. So we got Berg and Zone SS right behind the camera. Those were decent shots. Sled went a little bit long here. But all that to say, with Sled versus Berg, the Berg is definitely better at just going straight and sitting, which is why you would get a Berg. Whereas the sled, I find it a little more touchy than the Berg, which isn't saying much because the Berg is the least touchy disc of all time. But because you get that turn out of the Sled, gives you more distance potential for sure. Definitely gives you different shot shapes than the Berg, but really, I just feel like they're super different. So I don't even like making the comparison between the Berg in my mind, because then I start throwing them similarly, when in reality, they aren't all that similar outside of hand feel. If I was to give the Sled my own numbers, I'd probably bump up that glide number from 2 to maybe even like 4. Like, I feel like it has some glide despite being an anti-dome disc. With that said, I think the speed rating of 3 is very accurate. You can tell it has a thicker rim than something like the Berg. Like, the Berg just moves so slowly in the air. It feels like it takes forever to get to its destination, whereas the Sled is much more typical of a throwing putter, you know, something like an Envy or a Proxy. I don't know if I'd give it 2 fade. Maybe just 1 fade, like 1 turn, 1 fade. Because again, just a little bit of turn, a little bit of fade. But now we got a 215-foot par 3 over the water. Let's not lose our sleds. Let's start with ESP. Yeah, see that hyzer flip up to flat and then comes back down. Great shot. There we go. Not the ace run, but hey, I'll take that. Now let's go TI Swirl. Come on back for us. Come on back for us. Yeah, there we go. That's the park job. I just feel like those flights look so similar to the Zone SS. Let's go Zone SS again. Ooh, Zone SS is so straight, actually. Not a lot of turn, just dead straight. And I think that's my one hang up right now about the Sled is on a hole like this, I don't want to have to worry about turn at all. Let me bust out the Berg here. Let me do it, even though I said I don't want to compare it. I just want this so I can throw hard and know it's not gonna, you know, get a whole lot of turn, and know it's just gonna sit once we cross the water. And I just want to isolate our variables, which is why Berg is perfect on this hole. Through that high, nice. There we go. There we go. And that is literally 2 to 3 feet from the basket. So yeah, we got Berg right underneath the basket, Zone SS inside a bullseye, Sled also inside a bullseye, this TI Swirl right on the edge. Not a confident putting stroke, but you know, when you're this close to the basket, you don't need one. Now when it comes to the ever important hand feel, the groove on the Sled is definitely less pronounced than the Berg. Like the Berg, I'd say has a more drastic anti-dome hand feel, whereas the Sled is a little more subtle, but definitely very noticeable. If you pick up a Sled, you'll know right away, this disc does not feel like your typical disc. And I feel like you'll probably only enjoy this kind of disc if you know that you like anti-dome discs that have this recessed puddle top here. But I really like the fact that the Sled does a good job of balancing having the anti-dome geometry, which affects the flight, but also having a little more closer to a normal hand feel than something like the Cast Blast Berg. And if you're looking to get a Sled for yourself, you can do so at this channel's sponsor, Disc Golf Deals USA. You can use my affiliate link in the description below to get 10% off your entire order. They don't have the TI Swirl World's Tour Series zones yet because they're not out yet. Again, these release in late May. They go on pre-order pretty soon probably. But you can get good old ESP sleds as well as a bunch of other discs you might want at Disc Golf Deals USA. And you support the channel if you use the link below, so that's pretty sick. Anyways, we got a nice wide open hole here. Big old field, no trees. It's over 400 feet. We're not trying to get to the basket with these discs. We're just gonna try to throw them with some power out into the field and really get a good idea of how the stabilities compare when you give them a little bit of juice. Hyzer flipped to flat and coming back a little bit at the end. See, I like the fact that I can throw it hard and get the hyzer flip, but if I throw it as flat as I throw my Berg, that's when we see a lot more drift to the right. All right, let's go TI Swirl World's Tour Series Sled. Yeah, you can see that drift to the right, but still coming back. It's a beautiful flight, and they got good push. They go surprisingly far for an anti-dome disc, which is why I really think the comparison is the Zone SS, TI Swirl Tour Series 1 right here. Yeah, I don't think it has quite as much turn. I think that went a little bit higher, but those are probably right next to each other. And then, because I've been throwing it all day already, let's go K1 Berg. That one I threw a lot flatter, so it did get that drift to the right. And with the old U-disc measurement, we got the Casaplast Berg at 250 feet on the dot. But then we got to go quite a bit further here for our sleds, which did land right next to each other. We got TI on the right, ESP on the left, TI Swirl Tour Series sled, the official disc of the World Championships in 2026, 284 feet. And then we got Zone SS a little bit further here, and that is at 301 feet, 301. And that is pretty much what I would expect out of these molds. 204 foot par 3, basket straight, a little bit downhill, but you got to get underneath this branch right in front of the tee pad. There's also a couple trees on the right. It lines up better for the forehand, but I think because the sleds have a little bit of turn, we should be able to put them out a little bit left, drift to the right, and be okay. Starting with ESP. Oh, yeah, that was a nice straight shot. Didn't get all the drift I wanted, but also didn't throw it very hard. So let's make the correction here with TI Swirl. Up and out low. Had the right idea, just too low. But that's okay because ESP is here to save the day. Well, guys, that does it for your regularly scheduled sled programming. I really like the new TI Swirl sled. The flights are essentially identical between the two different plastic blends. I do really like the flex that the TI Swirl has. I think it's one of their better plastics that Discraft has come out with in recent history. Has a really nice grip. You know, I like the ESP on the sleds as well. You can't really go wrong with either. I like them both. So if you're gonna pick up a new Tour Series sled, let me know down below in the comments. Or if you got any thoughts on the sleds, if you've been bagging them, if you've been enjoying them or not enjoying them, let me know that as well. But if you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate if you consider liking and subscribing. You can also follow me on Instagram at Flying Fita Disc Golf or UDisc Community at Flying Fita. As always, guys, I love you. Take care. I'll see you next time.